Welcome back.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh, shut up and dance with me. We were victims of the night.
Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of KnitScents. My name is Jan, and you can find me as Jan Ellen RN on Ravelry and on Instagram, which is primarily where I hang out. We do have a Facebook page, KnitScents, which I will try to put here or link in the comment section below. And we also have a KnitScents podcast group on Ravelry, which I would love to have you come and join us. I really would like to start doing like a knit along or something, maybe to start getting, our holiday gift knitting going. That's a little idea I had in mind. So starting with small projects or something along those lines. So if you have any suggestions or have an idea for a knit along for our group, please let me know. Now, I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with the YouTube platform. And again, I am trying to look into getting the podcast onto iTunes. I'm now communicating with some other IT thing. I know less than nothing about this. It's only literally by luck that these episodes sort of go up the way they do when I do post them. And this is what, 3 weeks in a row? I think that's a record. I really think that's a record for me. But I actually really do like the YouTube platform because you can put comments below. I can respond to the comments. I don't know that you have that capability on iTunes. I know that it's easy. Some people just prefer watching or listening to podcasts on iTunes, which is why I am trying to be able to use that. But I personally do like the YouTube platform because of the comment section. I can provide links there in addition to providing them on the Ravelry group. So at any rate, if you do have any suggestions, and again, if you're not familiar with the YouTube platform, where I post the links, if you look below, you'll see a little, it'll say show more. And if you click on that, all of the show notes will pop up, links that I put in there. Those will all show up. And below that, it will say that you can post a comment, and that's where you can post a comment. Say whatever you like. Suggestions. Like I said, if you have any great ideas for a knit along, I really would love to start one in the group. I think that would be a lot of fun. Also, if you hit that subscribe button, and I'm not sure if it's over here or if it's over here, but there is a button that you can subscribe, and that will send you an email and notify you whenever a new episode goes up. So that's all my business oriented stuff. I think I have my co-host in the background looking for food. I don't know if it's because they're like transitioning into thinking, they're going to starve all winter, but these cats have been eating me out of house and home. It's like every day I'm in the store buying more cat food. Anyway, I digress. This is a knitting podcast. So let's see. Last week I left off where I tried to come up a road that didn't exist. It was all sort of rutted pavement. That problem was fixed yesterday. Almost a week later, by a knock on my door at 6:15 in the morning. Now, if you know me, you know that knocking on my door at 6:15 in the morning before I've been caffeinated is really a really bad idea. I wasn't even going to get up and answer the door. I couldn't even imagine who it was, but my daughter did, and it turned out they were paving the road. Decided that would be a good time to just sort of But the pavement down, only problem was she had a doctor's appointment to get to. So let's just suffice it to say that if you come up my street and notice tire tracks in the blacktop, yes, they are mine. I made them. Couldn't help it. I'm sorry. But that whole comedy of errors is finished now, and we live on a street. We actually have a road that comes up to the house. Other than that, I think it's been a pretty, for me, uneventful week. That was about the biggest trauma that I encountered, and I'm fine with that. If I had really known, if it hadn't been so early, I probably would have gone outside and engraved my initials into the blacktop. But at 6:30 in the morning, I wasn't getting up to do that. So there you go. We have to live with my tire tracks, no initials. So let's see. What do we have this week? I have a finished object. I have 2 works in progress, one that you have seen, one that is a new one that I cast on. I have a little bit of spinning. I've mostly been trying to really finish up. I'm trying to be more monogamous. I mean, this whole thing with the whips and the whip downs and all this other stuff that I've been doing, I did do a lot of frogging, but I think I still have too many whips. So I'm trying to only cast on one thing at a time, or no more than 2, and one has to be finished. I mean, I got all these rules going. And I'm really trying to stick to it, and I think that that's why I am getting things done. And honestly, I think doing the podcast is really what's holding me accountable, because otherwise I would come on here, I'd chit chat, say hi, probably give a recipe of the week and be gone and be done with it, because I wouldn't have anything to show. So having said that, so a little bit of spinning, my finished objects, 2 works in progress. I am going to review, last week I reviewed the Knitter's Pride, the Zing needles, which I really am enjoying. Now I completely forgot what I'm knitting on them. I think, oh, my Deschain sweater, which I actually didn't even bring down because it really doesn't look any different than it did last week. So, you know, unfortunately I didn't work too much on that. They're determined to destroy what's left of my sofa. My dogs are over there fighting. So this week, I am going to show and review my Lykke needles, which are birch wood needles. And I am normally not a wooden needle lover. I'm sorry, my hair is like stuck in my glasses, and it's driving me crazy. But these are unique. These are totally, totally unique, and I've started my new project, which I will show you, on them, and I am really, really enjoying them, so I thought I would share them with you. I know they are getting a lot of really positive feedback, a lot of good reviews, so I thought I would share that. And what else do we have? We have a contest going on, so, and on, and it's going to keep going on. We only have 1 entry so far. So we'll get into that later. Please enter. And what else? I have, oh Lord, yeah. You know, I was sitting yesterday in the hair place, and that's where I get most of my sock knitting done. In the doctor's office, which I'm constantly in and out of a doctor's office, and when I'm not there, I'm getting my hair done. So that's where I'm getting my sock knitting done. And I'm checking my phone, and I get an email. Now, I had a very late appointment yesterday, and I get an email from my local yarn store, and I absolutely hate when she does that, because it just makes me go. When she comes out with some of these new things, if I don't go, I don't see it, I don't know. So I try very hard to stay out of the store. But yesterday, she sent an email, and I will show you the pattern. I will show you what caused me to run from the South Shore of Long Island. And I know I'm getting off track here. This is just sort of some random stuff that I'm getting into here. But my hair place is all the way down on the South Shore of Long Island, literally near the ocean beaches. Now, the South Shore of Long Island, if you're familiar with the island, the South Shore, again with the squeak toy. Emmy, come here, baby. Come on, you don't want to play with that now? Oh, good girl. And the North Shore, there are North Shore beaches, but the North Shore beaches are from the Long Island Sound. So I literally ran in less than an hour when the store was closing from all the way down on the South Shore east to the North Shore west and made it there in enough time before the store closed to make my, and I'll show you what I picked up. I just sort of had to. Excuse me 1 minute while I distress the dog and take away her toy. I'm sorry, but this one's too squeaky. Here, go get your bone. Go get your bone. I'll give it back. I promise. I'm sorry. And there's a cat in the background. God, we got so many animals around here. Okay. And I also have a book review. So, having said all that, let's jump in and get started before I blather on anymore. Works in progress. I am working on my August. Here we go. Here we go. There goes a bobbin rolling on the floor. Okay. We're off. We're off and running. I am working on my August Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and I am doing them in the Unicorn Frap colorway, and this is on her, I believe it's the ZN base. If it's not, I'll log it, but let's see if I can poke this back out. I know I was confused last week, which is kind of a perpetual state for me, and had to look it up. Yes, it is her ZN base, which is her sparkle base, essentially. And the color is Unicorn Frap, which, let's see if I can get, it's really the aqua color. Well, I'll show you. You know what? It's going to be easier to show you in the sock. It's an aqua, pinky, purple, and then this is what pushes me over the edge, the white with speckles. I know all of these speckled yarns are coming out now, and I'm crazy for them. I just absolutely love them, but I really love the white, the natural color or off-white with the speckles. Drives me crazy. Love it. So here's the progress that I made. I don't remember where I was last week, but I do know between the doctor's appointments and the hair salon this week, I did get a good amount done. Now, I'm doing these as a true afterthought heel. So I will just knit the rest of this, and I think I calculated without adding in the heel, because, and again, I will link the tutorial below about how to calculate where to put your heel. But I think I figured for a 6-inch cuff and a 7.5 inch with the heel foot, what did I say? I had to do about 15 inches. So I'm probably going to do that, and then we'll see how long the cuff is. Basically what you do, you know what, I'm not even going to try to explain it. I will link the tutorial below. Cherie from KirbyWirby Yarns did a phenomenal tutorial on how to do a true afterthought heel, and I did do it once before. I mentioned in the last podcast. That is what I'm going to do with these socks if I ever get them done. What is it? Today is August 11th. It is Friday. I should have one sock finished very shortly, and I probably will without the heel. So hopefully I'm going to stay on track this month, because last month I pushed myself over the edge and got it done at the last minute. So that's the progress I made on my sock. It's basically just straight knitting. When I get down to, like I said, I believe I calculated that I have to see how long my toe is. It's probably like 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. So when I get to 13.5 inches, something like that, in the whole leg, I will do the toe, and then I'm going to link below. And she literally shows you how to measure your toe, subtract that from the amount that you want from the total length of your foot, and then where to place the heel. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'll link it below. So that's project number 1. Let's try to put it where it won't fall on the floor. Okay, I cast on my new project this week, which is, I had mentioned and I showed the yarn for, and I was able to start it, and I'm thrilled. And yes, see, this is the bag I showed last week. And it's great because, yes, it does have a handle, and it works, and it's a really nice big size bag. This is the My Bag. I linked it last time, and I really do like it. It snaps. You can pull the yarn through these holes without actually opening it up, and you can see through it, and I'm all about seeing through it. So what did I start? I started my Find Your Fave. I think now we're at the horse races here, the dog races, whatever. Okay. Okay. Emmy, come here, baby. Come on, sweetheart. You don't want to bark now. That's a girl. Okay. So, I got the first section finished, and I did the first fade into the second color. So, the first color I did was called Pollen, and it was this, well, I'll show it from here. It was this gold sort of, here, let me take these off. It's a good thing I don't worry about my nails anymore because this thing's a real nail buster. Okay. Let's get to the right side. There we go. Okay. So I cast on, you literally start this with a cast on of 3 stitches down here. It has a center spine, even though it ends up being, I think, asymmetrical. But it does have a center double decrease, which goes, as far as I know, through the whole pattern. And basically, it's a mix of garter stitch and this, oh gosh, now I can't, bird's eye lace, I think, is what this is called. Actually, I don't even think this is bird's eye lace, but it's a lace with, it's basically a knit 2 together with a double yarn over, which is why the holes are a little bit larger than they normally would be. But I like it. I think it actually comes out really nice. So you can see already where I ended and started the fade into my second color, which is right here. And this color is, what is it? Fool's Gold. It's called Fool's Gold. Now, all of the yarn that I'm using is Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles. So I'm just about finished. In fact, I think I am finished with the garter section in the Fool's Gold. So I am assuming, although I haven't really looked back at the pattern, that the next section will be the lace section in the Fool's Gold. I'm not sure if each of the sections repeats with the different colorways. I didn't look that far. If I look far ahead in a pattern, that's when I start to get confused. I do much better, which is probably why I like Knit Companion so much. I actually, when I break my patterns up into Knit Companion, I do not break up the whole pattern at once. I do literally section by section. Maybe I'll do the section and maybe the one after so that I know where I'm heading. But I find that if I try to break the entire pattern down into there, by the time I'm at the end of it, I'm usually confused. I can't visualize where it's going. And I break it up in a way that doesn't really ultimately work for me in the end, and I end up going back and repeating it. So if I have to, and one of the great things I love about Knit Companion is if I have to look ahead or if I want to go get more information or something I didn't add, you can always just hit the PDF button and refer back if you left something out or whatnot. So I usually tend to break it down section by section, focus on each piece that I'm knitting on, and then when I'm finished, I then go into the next section and add that section on and break it down, which isn't to say I don't read the pattern completely before I start, obviously, but I don't, you know, I just sort of skim it over, make sure I've got everything, get an idea of where I'm going, that something I can do, and then I take it from there. So that's where I'm at with my Find Your Fade, and I'm really, really loving the colors so far. But this is only the tip of the iceberg because we go from this sort of pollen color, which is like a goldenrod. That's what I would call it. I would call it like a goldenrod color. And I have shown this, but I'll show it again. This is the rest of the colors. So we go from that goldenrod. When I'm done with the Fool's Gold, we're going to go into this color, and it's going to take us all the way down to this deep, deep burgundy, which looks like it's almost overdyed with black. It's really a reddish burgundy. It's got a lot of red in there, burgundy, and like I said, it almost in spots looks like it's been overdyed with black. So this is just absolutely, I think it's a stunning combination. And I think I had mentioned this in my last episode that she, Beata of Hedgehog Fibers, had done a one-off of the original colors from the Find Your Fade. And I was lucky enough to catch one of the kits. So this is actually the colors that when you look on the project page, on the pattern page, these are the colors that the original one was knit in. And we all know my sense of color. There was no way I was going to try to pick out 7 colors. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 colors to match. That wasn't going to happen for me. The last time I did that, I ended up with clown barf. So yeah, we're not doing that anymore. I'm going to leave this out actually because when I'm finished, I want to talk about the needles that I have that on. So I'm going to try to put this in a place where it, not bad, good aim. I hit Starbucks earlier. On my way home, I was out running errands, and I actually went for the venti this time. I'm still getting over the 6:15 wake-up call with the pounding on the door and the dogs barking yesterday. I need the caffeine. Okay, so that's it for works in progress. I really am only working on those 2 right now, and the Deschain, or whatever you call it, sweater, which probably is going to be done for next spring, but that's okay. So moving on to spinning, I've been spinning again monogamously. I am going to get back. I really want to start working again on the Cormo. And I believe I did in a previous episode, it was several episodes back, show the locks that I had hand washed lock by lock and what they looked like before and after. And I have a bunch that I've washed and are ready to spin. Cole, come in. Come on. That's it. Now, guys, you got to stop. Come on. Calm down now. So I really do want to get back to working on that. But in the meantime, I have been working on, it's a braided fiber that I purchased at SSK. It was from a dyer named Hip Strings. And this colorway was called Rose Quartz. And I had 1 bobbin finished. What I decided to do, since again, this really, I'm gonna try to get trying to get the light glare off it. It's really just a subtle combination of pink and gray. So to fractal spin it, I don't think would have done it any justice, and I obviously I don't think novel applying it. So I decided, you know, I really would like it in a 3-ply, in a true 3-ply. And then use it either for a cowl, probably something, because it's very, very soft. It's got, I think, a 23 micron merino viscose, I think. Oh, viscose from Rose Petals is what was in this. So it is a very, very soft yarn. So I thought it would make a nice, even if I didn't have enough yardage for a longer one, even if it were a shorter cowl, it would be fine. So this is what I have of the second of 3 bobbins. I split the braid into 3, and I'm almost done with the second. I should have brought in the amount of fiber I had left, but whatever. And then I will spin up the 3rd, and then hopefully by next week I will have a skein of yarn to show. And I mentioned in last week's podcast when I took the class with Jillian Moreno, we spun up a lot of samples. We were sampling a lot, and that is not something I usually do. And since that class, I can almost guarantee that I will be doing much more sampling, because I know I had mentioned she brought a steamer. And the problem I found with sampling was you sample it, and then you got to wash it, and you got to wait for it to dry, and then if you want to change something, you got to repeat the whole you know, thing all over again, the whole process. And what she did was she had a steamer. And that steamer, it was like we would bring up these crinkled over, you know, I don't want to say overspun, but even normally spun yarn that's spun correctly has kinks and whatnot. And when you put it in front of the steamer, it just, it's like you could watch it smooth it out. So I did purchase, and they're very inexpensive. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon. So I did get a steamer. So hopefully next week I will have a nice 3-ply yarn to show you. That's my goal. is to get that plied, finish spinning it and ply it. So that's where we're heading with that. So that's really it for spinning. So this is likely to be a short episode. Finished object. I finished my Joji Locatelli, which was a mystery knit along. I don't know if it's mystery wrap or mystery wrap, mystery knit along, whatever it was. The end result, it's called Starting Point, is now the name of the pattern. So if you look it up, it's Starting Point by Joji Locatelli. And I did finish it. I worked on it from a kit that was intended for a different project and played yarn chicken at the end. I won. I did have enough yarn in all of the colors. And I only had to pick 2 colors that matched. So here is, and I'm going to try this. It's huge. I have not blocked it, and I am dreading this. I will be weaving in ends. I don't know how long I will be weaving in ends, but there is my finished Starting Point, and I am just really, really thrilled with how this came out. I love the colors. I love the pattern. It is a true rectangle. I'm going to see if I can just wrap it on here so you can kind of get an idea without these, these ends all hanging all over. But it's just a very large rectangular wrap. And I mean, I'm super, super pleased with how this came out. I think it will be great to wear in the fall, in the winter. I think I'm going to motivate myself to weave in the ends and actually block this thing, which I actually may steam block it. I think that's going to be easier because I certainly don't need to stretch it. It does have lace, so I'm not sure how you do that. And I would like to, I don't want to stretch it, but I wouldn't mind opening up this lace section a little bit. But I mean, to stick this whole thing in water and try to dry it out, it's going to take, in this humidity, it's going to take forever to dry. So I may try steam blocking it first, and then if I don't like the way it came out, I can always go back and block it regularly. But I think I'm going to try to motivate myself to weave in the ends and get this blocked to wear to Rhinebeck. That's my goal. So that's my completed Starting Point. I'm absolutely very impressed with myself that I finished. And like I said, it is really amazing how things get done when you actually knit on them. Isn't that like incredible? So there we go. That is my finished object. So that's pretty much, that's all my works, all my stuff. So I'm going to move on to 2 reviews. I have, first I'm going to review the Lykke Needles. And the Lykke Needles come, I believe, and from what I looked up last night, they come in 2 sizes, meaning that this is considered the large. This set has sizes 4 to tree trunk. I mean, this is, I can't even imagine knitting on this. To me, that looks like a small tree trunk. But it is size US 17. So that, I believe, is considered the large size. And it comes with everything you would need, obviously, in an interchangeable kit. It comes with the cords. It comes with the stoppers. It comes with connectors, and I think it's a 24-inch, 232 and a 40, something like that. And then with these extenders, you can make the cables pretty much as long as you need to. And I'm pretty sure any, actually, that's a good, I'm not sure what other cables would fit this. And I'm going to try that later and see if Knitter's Pride cables fit, if you can use those. I have not tried that, and that's a very interesting question. Otherwise, I'm sure you can purchase other cables. I think it came with 4 cables. Let's see. Yeah, I think it actually came with 4 cables. I don't have a compilation of it. It doesn't say. It came with a lot of stoppers. So if you know, it's a rather large set. So if you find that you want to use the needles on a different cord, on a different project, and switch back and forth, you can, because there are 2 sets of these end caps that basically you take the needle off and just screw these on to the cable, and the cable will act as a holder, and this will prevent your stitches from falling off, and then you can take the needles and use them on a different cable. So that's the stuff that it comes with. Let me just see. I'm pretty sure. Now, there's a little pocket back in here if you want to put like stitch markers or things. If you carry your interchangeables with you, you can put little accessories into this zip pocket. And this is almost, I mean, I have to say, to me, I don't know if it is or not, but this case smells like leather. I'm sure it's some kind of leatherette, but it's actually a really beautiful case for the needles. But let me pull out one that's a little bit larger. Let's not go with the tree trunk one. And I will tell you some of the things that I really am enjoying about the needles. This is, like I said, I'm using these needles for my Find Your Fade. And this is a fingering weight yarn, so it's pretty fine. I have had no snagging whatsoever. The join is as smooth as could possibly be. My stitches slide right over it. I've found with some interchangeable needles, particularly wood ones, that right here where the wood meets this metal, and I believe it's called a fenule or something along those lines, ferrule, whatever, that several different brands of needles, my stitches have caught right there. Not necessarily at the joint, but here. And I know on carbons, I've had a problem with them snagging, and I've also had a problem with them snagging at the tip of the carbons. And I'm not a particularly tight knitter. I usually knit to a pretty average gauge. So I'm not sure, you know, if it's just the way I knit that causes that, but this has been absolutely no problem with joins or snagging anywhere. The wood on these is just as smooth could be. And again, like I said, typically I'm not a wood needle. I use wood needles, particularly wood double point needles, if I'm using like a center cast on and working out in a lace pattern. I will then use wooden double point needles because they're grabby, and you know, when you're using lace yarn on a lace pattern and a center cast on, you really want to be careful that those stitches don't slip. But that's the same thing that I just dislike in a wooden needle when I'm working on something that's, you know, garter stitch, or even in a lace stitch where I don't want it stuck on the needle, I want to move along. These are so smooth. You can almost see how well polished they are. There, that's like a good shot of it. Let's see. So the wood on this, as beautiful as the birch is, and it really, really is a pretty looking needle, they're smooth. They are silky, silky smooth, and look at the point. Really, really nice point. Again, like I said, this has some lace. It has, you know, a slip to, pass slip stitch over, and then here it's got some knit two togethers. I've had absolutely no problem with this. I don't know if I would do an intricate lace pattern with this. For that, I probably would stick with my signatures or something that I needed a pointy one. But what I'm finding, and I'm an absolute signature lover, but what I am finding now, having branched out a little bit and been trying different needles, is that I literally just cut myself off. I don't know how I did that, but I went to just go like that, and it literally, the computer stopped. What I was saying was, as I have branched out on different needles, I'm actually finding that with certain yarns, that really, really sharp tip on these signature needles does tend to really exacerbate any splittiness in the yarn. So for certain yarns, even though you compromise a little bit of sharpness, a needle like this would be absolutely perfect because it's still pointy, but it doesn't split the yarn. It's not that same sharp that's going to literally break apart every little strand of your yarn. So again, and I just want to show, you can see the needles they're different. Each one is unique. Where did I put I don't know why my dogs are going crazy. There isn't a soul in this house. It's just me, which is why I'm trying to get this recording done before the masses come home. I mean, here are my size. Here's 2 different sizes, and you can see, you know, just a clear difference in the colors of the needles, which is so unique and it makes them just one of a kind, really, because they are all natural birch. So if you are in the market for interchangeable needles and you like wood, I'm just trying to make sure I don't stick these all in the wrong spot. And if you like wood, or even if you don't, if you want to try them again or try wood for the properties, again, winter's coming. I know the needles, the metal needles get cold. I've never had a problem with that. I personally, you could hang me in a meat locker and I'd be perfectly happy hanging in there. So the fact that my needles are a little chilly isn't a problem, but I know that people that have particularly hand problems, tendinitis or whatever in their hands, sometimes the needles being cold can make the problem worse. And if you're not fond of wooden needles, these may actually be a good solution for you because, like I said, they act like a non-metal needle when in fact they are a metal needle. So they are a wood needle. So, all right, I'm going to move on because obviously my mind is wandering away from the needles. So we're going to try and not have an accident here. We're going to lock these back up, put this somewhere over here, and we are going to move on. I have a book review, and I have to say, I've been completely, probably because when I got this copy last year was kind of when it all hit the fan, and I've been really, really negligent in reviewing this book. And I've since gone back and looked it over again, partly because of what I'm going to show you afterwards. It's from the same designer. But I was gifted a book from Lars Rains, who is a designer and an author of one of his books you may be familiar with is Modern Lopi. He is known for his Fair Isle work, his stranded work, his work with Lopi yarns. Now, I've known Lars for a long time. He was in my knitting group at my former local yarn store that I still get sad isn't there. Actually, I found out that my hair place yesterday when I was racing, I was actually using my GPS, which I wouldn't normally use, but I was trying to find the fastest route to the yarn store. I found out my hair place was literally like 2 blocks from my old yarn store, so that kind of made me sad because I was like, every time I get my hair done, I could be going to the yarn store, but no more. But at any rate, I digress. Lars had gifted me, and I know he's come out with a book of knitted dresses, which now I am not one that would wear a knitted dress. I never thought I would wear a knitted skirt until I saw Ann Budd when I went to SSK. I took a class with her. And the entire time at SSK, Ann was wearing one of her skirts, her knitted skirt patterns. And she was rocking it. And we were all sitting there going, you know, on you, it looks great. It's not going to look great on me. It's not going to look great on me. She had everybody trying on the same skirt, and it looked fabulous on everybody. And she explained and explains in her patterns how to adjust the waist and where to put your increases and decreases, and that's what makes the difference in a flattering knit skirt and a very unflattering knit skirt. So I may have to go back and revisit the book on knitted dresses because they were gorgeous. I just didn't think they would look so great on me. But if I can find now iBooks, because that's where I think I put it. Here we go. Let's see, open an iBooks. Okay, the book is called Presto. Okay, that's the cover of it. Oh gosh, upside down. Let's see. And it is a book by Lars Rains. The photography is done by Gail Zucker, who, if you're familiar at all with Gail, her pictures, oh God, are amazing. They're gorgeous. They're art in and of itself. And what this is, this book, like I said, a lot of Lars' designs are for Lopi type sweaters, Icelandic sweaters. He works a lot with Icelandic wool. But this is accessory projects. 10 accessory projects you can knit in a weekend. And they're adorable. They're absolutely adorable. So I'm going to try to make this larger. And here are the first 6. Now I'm hoping there we go. I'm hoping you can see, and I will go to some of the pages of them. Now let's see if I can get a look at the next. Yeah, there we go. Here's the rest of them. And, you know, keeping in mind, like I mentioned before, let's see if the light will cooperate. There we go. With the holiday season, you know, around the corner. For us knitters, the holiday season kind of starts now if you really want to get your gifts done by December, which is why I thought it would be really fun to start a knit along. But I really fell in love with these projects. I thought they were absolutely adorable and easy to knit. They're chunky. Let's see if I can go back. I'm not very good with this. I don't know what I did. Honestly, I don't know what I did. Okay, so okay, here we go. Back to the beginning. So let me show you some of my favorites, and I think these will knit up very quickly. I don't know if this is, can you, so I'm asking myself essentially if you can tap on the pattern. Here we go. That's the one I like. Titania. Here we go. This is one of my favorite ones. It's a nice bulky cowl, which I thought was really, really pretty. I think this would look amazing in hand spun. Now it's knit with, let's see, Madeline Tosh ASAP, 100% superwash, 90 yards per skein. So I am assuming that this is a super bulky. So I really think this would look amazing in hand spun. And I mean, the pattern is like a half a page. So it's super, super simple. It's knit on size 13 needles. So if you have that large set, this would knit up really quickly. And I think it would make a phenomenal gift. This is another one that even the colors on this, oh gosh, I have to take a look and see what yarn was used for this cowl. But it looks like it's super simple, but the beauty is in the yarn. And I think he chose a gorgeous yarn for this. It's, again, Madeline Tosh ASAP. Now I know why I like it. It's in the Dachshund colorway. And all you hear crying in the background is my Dachshund. But I do happen to like the Dachshund colorway in Madeline Tosh. And again, this is knit on size 13 needles. And I think, to me, if that's something that I could knit up even in a week, I would be gifting that. That's like what everybody would be getting this year, because I think that is just the perfect, perfect cowl. So I can't recommend this book highly enough. I think there are, I think there's mitts in here. Let's see if I can go back to the, let's see. This one is adorable. Where is that? Here. Southern Gothic. I think this is a shawl. Let's see. Here we go. And it's a small, understated yet sophisticated accessory. It was designed for Ashley Coates, who suggested that this collection needed a shawl in it. With its simple open work motif and extremely large gauge, you could finish this dramatic project over one dark and stormy weekend. Again, Madeline Tosh ASAP. It's 2 colors. The sample was knit in Black Velvet and Dr. Zhivago's Sky, and this is knit on size 15 needles. So all of these projects are something that, now if you're into color work, there's a color work design cowl in there. Again, it's knit on large needles. I think this book, this is like perfect timing for it because, I mean, it's great for gifts. Who doesn't need, you know, quick knit gifts? So again, this is called, it's an ebook. It's called Presto. And it is by Lars Rains, who, if you ever meet Lars or have an opportunity to meet him, he is just he's just nice. He is just the nicest person. He really, really is. So I highly recommend that. I already want to knit at least 3 of the patterns in that book. And that brings me to my completely unintended stash enhancement. But like I said, I was sitting there yesterday checking on my phone and I got an email from my local yarn store. And Lars has just come out with a new pattern. And in fact, the pattern is so new that my yarn store put together kits for it. I have a picture of the pattern, but I don't have the pattern. It isn't on Ravelry yet. And she hasn't even gotten the full copy from Lars yet. But that stopped me not. I went and I had to get the kit for a couple of reasons. First of all, I saw the picture. I'm going to show it first. And then, now, I believe the name of the pattern is the Slarf. And that's exactly what it is. It's kind of a scarf with sleeves. That's the front. Well, that was such a long interruption that my mother came, and then UPS came with my Penzi spices, and then my son came home, and I thought I had turned the camera off, and it turns out I didn't. So now I'm going to have to cut off, because I am sure you are totally not interested in that exchange. So I'm going to have to cut that off, but I think I remember where I was when I left off back who knows when it was. And I had shown this picture of Lars's new pattern, which is the Slarf. That's the front of it. But what I didn't show, I can't get this to stick back on. So here, that's the back. And when I saw this in the email yesterday, I was all over it. I was like, I have to make that. I really, really love that pattern. Now, they had made kits of a new to them indie dyer. They chose colors that would work together. 3 semi-solids and 1 like sparkle color to use in the pattern. And I did see them online, but when I saw them in person, oh my goodness. One had like a lime green in it, which I didn't know if that would look so good on me. The other one also had a bit of green in it. There was one that was more neutral with only a slight bit of purple. And I saw these colors together and went with this one. So what they are is it's 4 skeins of, this is a totally new to me dyer called Oink Pigments. And I'm looking, and actually I looked before and it said made in England, and this one says made in Peru. Hand dyed. Okay, so I'm not sure. I guess she gets, I'm assuming she gets her bases from different places is where I'm going with this. But they're all hand dyed The dyer is located in Vista, California. And this one is the Sparkle. Again, it's called, the dyer is called Oink Pigments, which I think that is the cutest name. This one is called Disco. That's the Disco base, so I'm assuming that's the Sparkle. And this colorway is called Plum Drum Weekend. But the other three, this one is Superwash, and I guess it's 92% Superwash Merino, so I'm assuming it's 8%. Doesn't say it on here, but I'm assuming it's 8% Stellina. And the other one is so super soft. It's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So that is my future project. And again, I have not even gotten the pattern yet for it. But when I saw that, and I knew if I waited, those kits would be gone. That store, if you're not in there, like, yes, something fell on the floor. If you're not in there, as soon as it goes up, it's out the door. And I have to say, I showed great restraint. She has now gotten in stock Bink Waffle bags, which I have a total soft spot for. I don't know if I'm pretty sure on one of my first few episodes, I showed one of the Bink Waffle bags that I have. And now that I think of it, I know I have a small one, and I wasn't sure if I have a larger one, but now that I think about it, I do. But I showed great restraint and did not buy anything other than the kit for that slarf. So I did show you the pictures. I would link the pattern, but again, it's not on Ravelry yet, picking up off the floor. And I think that's it. I have no idea at this point how long this episode is going to be because it's so many pieces, so many interruptions, so many dogs and barking and cats jumping. But I did want to, one reminder, we have a contest going in the Ravelry group, KnitScents podcast group on Ravelry. And it's a friendship contest. And the contest is for a skein of Desert Vista Dye Works in her War base in the Patsy colorway. And it is named for Patsy Cline. So those of you who are country music fans, you'll know these colors just suit that theme. I don't think she could have come up with more perfect colors. This is actually a variegated yarn, so you don't necessarily have to use this for socks, or feel like, with a self-striping, you might get some funny, weird thing. I mean, this would look lovely in a cowl. It's 490 yards. So it's a generous amount of yardage. I think it would make a beautiful cowl, beautiful mitts. Again, like I said, it's variegated. And what you need to do, you need to be a member of the group. And all that you need to do is bring a friend into the group. That's it. Get a friend to join the group and post in the thread who you had join the group. And that will enter you into the contest for the skein of yarn. And if your friend that you got to join the group, if that person gets a friend to join the group, and she posts in that thread who she got to join, she will be entered, and so on. Because I really would like to get more input. I'd like to get like a community going. I had mentioned earlier, I would love to do some cowls, especially with the holiday season knitting starting. I don't want to say the holiday season upon us, because I think I know I'd freak, and I know a lot of other people would panic too. But it's a good time to start your holiday knitting without any pressure. I'm looking actually after that Steeking class. My zipper, if you remember from that episode when I showed my coffee cozy, my zipper sewing skills, we're not going to go down that road. But I would love to do some steeked coffee cozies, and she did also, Ann Budd did show us how to pick up stitches, which is really easy to do, and add on a knitted button band, and then just sew some funky buttons on, Super simple. I know the homework, which was essentially knitting the coffee cozy, I did it in a night. So we're not talking a big long-term project, and I think those would make great gifts. We could do a gift along, we could pick a pattern and do that. So let's get some life going and some exchange going. I think that would be so much fun. I know I would enjoy it. If you have suggestions for a knit along or for a project along that you would like to do, list them below. If anyone is interested in steeking or making, there is a pattern on Ravelry. I do not know if it's a free pattern. I will check. And I will link the pattern below. And I believe that the pattern is called Steeked Coffee Cozy. And that one does have button bands on it. And if anyone is nervous to try it, if you would like, I will gladly do a tutorial on how to secure your steek and how to cut the steek. If anyone is interested in that, I would gladly do that if you want to do that as a knit along. And when we get up to when we're all finished, and again, like I said, it's not a difficult project. It's again, that one is stranded color work. It's simple. And when you're up to when we're all ready for it, or when you're ready for it, I would gladly do a little tutorial on how to secure your steek and how to cut it and pick up for the button bands. So that's an option. Leave a comment below if that's something you'd be interested in. And I think that's it for today. And for what was supposed to be a short episode, I have a feeling this is going to end up being like, you know, mega interruptus. I don't know. But we're done. This is 3 weeks in a row, and we're on a roll. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a good week. And as always, remember to knit with sense.